Hello, hello. We are here for our weekend reflection message. I'm flying through my day and I had wet hair and don't care. So we're just gonna go with it. I love our message for the weekend. I think it's very encouraging. There is a topical message that we don't usually have. That's like a public service announcement that I'll give. But first I'll show you the cards and then we'll do the usual audio and then we'll unpack them. So first, from the Radiant Sun Oracle, we've got Jupiter in Cancer, which is speculation, followed by Mars in Aries, which is impulsiveness, followed by Saturn in Sagittarius, which is fulfillment. Underneath speculation, we have the Knight of Cups. Underneath impulsiveness, we have the Empress. Underneath fulfillment, we have the Lovers. And to finish it all, we have the Hierophant. So before we talk about anything lofty or esoteric, I'm going to let you guys listen to the audio and then we'll come right back and I'll explain the surface level, simple, direct interpretation that I'm getting for the weekend, general warning, and then we'll move on with the deeper meaning. This week has been all about connecting to the true voice of spirit within us and rising above our own willful intentions and lower selfish inclinations. This is the way, the truth, and the life that will guide us to our ultimate fulfillment. Our lower human instincts cannot get us there because the ego cannot broaden its vantage point and therefore vision beyond itself. We must surrender to our higher power to finally align with our true destiny, potential, and purpose. Jupiter is leaving Cancer and entering into Leo. This emotional transition and transformation of consciousness is likened to the moment of breakthrough when you finally get over a breakup once and for all, and you realize everything it taught you. You may be ready to rush into this next chapter with all of this fiery purpose and fun-loving energy. Just be mindful to go slow enough not to fall into impulsivity, but to allow yourself to consciously take each step. Careful to consider your new and current worldview, values, desires, wisdom, understanding, needs, etc. What authentically aligns with that voice's calling? Okay, so the cautionary tale that I wanted to point out here, guys, is if you do not want to get pregnant this weekend, then I would seriously avoid doing anything impulsive. We have the Jupiter in Cancer card here, which implies expanding the home, expanding the family, expanding the household, right? Underneath, we have Knight of Cups. So Knight of Cups sometimes is an offer or a proposal, right? We could have an unexpected pregnancy that leads to a shotgun marriage here. But this could be someone who is very seductive and it's very easy to get caught up in their charm and charisma. And so the Knight of Cups with the Jupiter in Cancer card almost sounds like here he comes offering you the world. You rush into things, get a little impulsive, and then end up with, gifts on the way. See, look, the Empress ripe with potential there. So we also have the fulfillment paired with the Lovers. So it's like bringing the full desire into fulfillment, going in the path of the Lovers, maybe coming together. So if this did happen, it seems like it could be favorable because not only do the Lovers come together under the fulfillment card, and the fulfillment card is like concrete materialization with long-term vision, long-term plan, right? Capricorn and Sagittarius. But the underlying card at the end here is the Hierophant, which is institution, solid stability, firmness. This is the Pope. So you think about like who, presides over a marriage, but the priest or priestess in any given practice, right? So that was just we don't usually talk about stuff like that here, but I couldn't help but be like, unless you are trying to do this right now, maybe be careful. However, I do think that there is, like, this whole week we've been examining our egos, like impulsive, selfish inclination, and our own will. Forcing our will at all costs and then paying the cost for it. Rather than finding out, really getting in touch with that voice within. Where is it calling us? What is authentic for us? And aligning with that higher divine guidance. And when we do that, when we surrender our ego in return for surrendering to God's will, it's like the scariest thing to do because we think it's going to go against what we want. We think it's going to lead to something boring, or that it's not going to be as shiny as the thing that our ego wants. But actually the trick is that surrendering to the divine will like bring out your ultimate fulfillment, and it will satisfy your soul and give your soul rest in a way that no other path ever will. So surrendering that and finding a new sense of purpose and like excitement and inspiration and fulfillment in, letting go of a weight that has been holding us back, and then freeing ourselves by letting go of the illusion of control. So the story this week has been about these characters in the Torah named Balak and Balaam. And Balaam was like invited to join this conspiracy against the Israelites and Moses. And he prayed about it, and God was like, no, don't do this. But there was something in it for Balaam if he went along with this plan. And he kind of like kept, I guess, subconsciously wanting the answer to be yes. So he kept trying to figure out, and studying all of his spells and everything. How could he get out from under the authority of the divine authority and into the will of his own, right? And he just kept asking and asking the Creator. Finally, the Creator was like, fine, do what you want, do what you will, right? Follow your desire. The universe will support you, whatever your heart truly desires. You will find support for that, whether it's of a higher nature or not. So just because you're getting support for what you desire doesn't mean that it's on your path or in the right. So it's basically like that Hermetic Kabbalah versus Hebrew Kabbalah, where the Hebrew Kabbalah is really aimed at refining the soul to reflect God and God's image and God's will, knowing that that's going to bring out our ultimate fulfillment. Whereas the Hermetic Kabbalah can kind of go into that do what thou wilt. It's very human inclination oriented. And so it kind of yields chaos, and it kind of ends up attracting more sort of like dark kind of practices around it, or dark consciousness around it, or forcing my will to get what I want. And I only have a limited view and perception. Right? So we're learning, okay, wow, Balaam did pray about it and he believed in God, right? And he wanted that guidance, but he wasn't willing to see the true guidance he was giving. He wanted to force his will to manipulate the will of God, or the direction of nature and the cosmos. And he did successfully, but it costed him a lot. I think it costed him his life or whatever. So speculation, Jupiter in Cancer here. Jupiter is about to move out of Cancer into Leo at the end of the month. So Jupiter's been transiting through Cancer for, I don't know what, like maybe 18 months or something. And it's been really heavy, and it's been really moody, and there's been so much emotion and so much like plumbing the depths of our subconscious and doing a lot of emotional purging and healing. And so it's been heavy, it's been sensitive, it's been touchy. It hasn't been super, super fun. It hasn't been feeling hot girl summer. that's how we've arrived at Appalachian Granny Summer, where we're just like, get off my land, It's not been fun. But we're about to go into Leo. Jupiter's about to go into Leo, and Leo is the house of play, of fun. Of course, they are all about respect and doing something for the underdog, and they really take up arms and make things happen for the good. But they think they're all about themselves, right? They're so prideful. So we are going into a lot more of a fiery and excited and aroused energy moving forward. So just hold on to the night. Hold on to your energy, getting out of this, like underneath this Zoloft cloud. It's not going to last forever. But when that energy does kind of let go and give and move forward, and how like over the past few years, it feels like all the energy is just like working against us. It feels like when we're trying to generate creation, it just feels like we're swimming upstream. We're pushing the boulder up the hill. It just keeps rolling back down. But we're finally, I think, going to get some footing and start to build some momentum. So it's going to be really tempting to want to take off running and be really haphazard, or be impulsive, or, when someone charming or good looking comes along, if you haven't dated for a while, to just get really overly invested in them too quickly. Be mindful. Don't let this like period of frustration with finances cost you impulse purchases that you didn't think through, and then you're squandering what you could be building, right? Things like that. If you are building a brand or a business and it's finally taking off, make your choices and build wisely with strategy and 360 vision and perspective. So don't be super impulsive, because the situation is very pregnant with potential right now. So you want to use it wisely. There's a lot of fertile creation force in the air, and we need to generate this by utilizing what we've learned in that spiritual transformation and putting that transformation and that intuitive direction into action, right? That's the Empress. It's the masculine and feminine coming together to yield fruit, right? So that's where we're headed. And then the ultimate fulfillment, practical action and consistency and a pragmatic plan, coupled with optimism and enthusiasm and the touch of luck that always seems to follow Sagittarius along the path of the Lovers. So as we move forward, we want to make our decisions and let ourselves be navigated from the heart and from the soul, not from the logical mind, not from, overthinking and letting the ego take over, and then getting lost in the means to an end rather than the journey, right? Sometimes Mercury, Gemini, which is the Lover's card, can rush forward and kind of dehumanize the experience because they're so focused on achieving that goal, that outcome, right? So we need to slow down and really be in this journey to fill and receive the ultimate fulfillment, because sometimes we can force something and manifest something, but if we forced it and we don't have the vessel to receive it fully, then we get the thing, but we don't get the fulfillment of the thing, right? So we want the whole fulfillment. We want the wholeness. So slow down, make it solid. Take your time, enjoy the process, and enjoy the journey, and make your choices in alignment with that higher self and that higher guidance. And then ultimately, it's going to lead to long-term things coming together in a solid way. Like, think about how solid the church is, right? So long-running institutions that have authority, right? This packs some kind of weight revolving around inner spiritual authority and direction that's bigger than just you. It's like aligning you with your mission, but it's also aligning you with this inner cosmic sovereignty of free will rather than living life being tossed around in the currents. You are consciously and navigating life awake and on purpose and with purpose. All right. Well, that's all for tonight. Have a lovely weekend. We will be back together tomorrow for our Secret Teachings of Jesus episode, our little Saturday night secret sermons. Those get posted after midnight between the hours of 1 and 2 Central Time, usually, because I film them around midnight when I come home from work. We are getting into the Gnostic Gospels in Secret Teachings of Jesus, and currently we are in the Gospel of Thomas. So I might do a part 2 on our saying from last week, or depending on, I don't know, I might move forward, I might go back and circle back from last week and elaborate more. We'll see. We'll see where the Spirit leads me. All right, y'all. Ciao.